JSNIP4 here. First off, just got the WebBot report from Cliff. Hi. Sent it to me. Very much appreciated, Cliff. Hadn't even had a chance to double click and open it. But I will tomorrow, and then I will do the summary report on that tomorrow evening, which will then be released the next day, most likely. So, I saw an interesting article, Silver Doctors. I love when I see references to the Roman Empire, because the United States of America and the Roman Empire are almost spitting images of each other. And I've said this before, the only difference today with America being the New Age Roman Empire is technology. Every stupid decision that led to the falling of the Roman Empire, we are absolutely positively doing the same damn thing. You would think, don't people learn from history? The answer should be yes. Resounding yes. Why are we doing it again? Why are we doing these things that we knew back then caused collapse? Because greedy, dirty, rotten scoundrels get into power and do anything they can do to keep that power and keep it amongst themselves in their little club. And all of the decisions they make are only good for them, not good for anybody else. And since there's so few of them and so many more of us, it always leads to the demise of the damn country. So, this is regarding silver, precious metals, but there's a few little charts and some interesting things about what happened to the Roman Empire for some similar reasons that things are happening here in America. Indicators warn collapse of the paper and gold silver market may be close at hand. By the Doc from Silver Doctors. The collapse of the paper, gold, and silver futures market may usher in a new dark age. In all likelihood, the coming collapse of the economic and financial system will happen virtually overnight. Unfortunately, investors who are still playing Russian roulette in the broader markets may find out sooner than later that timing an exit is folly. Owning precious metals such as physical gold and silver, coins, or bars out of the banking system is the best alternative to the madness that will be coming. A collapse does not happen overnight, but the end game does. And he says from the SRS Rocco report, there is something seriously wrong taking place in the markets today. This is also true in the paper, gold, and silver markets as well. For a paper, precious metals futures market to function properly, there has to be ample supplies of the physical metal. However, the ongoing trend of falling precious metals inventory points to big trouble in the paper, gold, and silver markets. We must remember a collapse does not happen overnight, but the end game does. This can be clearly seen in the collapse of the Roman monetary system, and he's got a screenshot here from Martin Armstrong from 1995, copyright Martin Armstrong. 95 back then, man. And it goes from 280 BC, which is here, of course. Right here is 33 AD, 241, 449, I guess, and 501. And it's saying you can just see right here. Collapse of Roman silver monetary system, which took place between 280 BC and 518 AD. Again, that's the from left to right on this whole chart. Decline and fall of the Roman denarius based on silver content. And you can see right around the year 241, almost spot on there, it looks like. Have this huge little problem, little spike up out of nowhere, then it falls off a cliff again. And we're talking, what was that, 40, 50, I don't know, 20 years or so, 30 years maybe. And then you got this part, no silver coins minted anywhere. And that's just a little arrow straight down. There's like nothing. There's a period of time, which looks like a few years, of absolutely nothing going on. And as you can see, the supply never, ever got back up to where it needed to be. Meanwhile, the Roman Empire is expanding, warring, trying to do anything that it can do to get some precious metals. Again, there was no paper printing with the Romans. This was, gold, silver coins. They did coin clipping. They watered down the amount of other precious metals with heavier metals like nickel, I think copper. So they put more of the junk metals in there. It was futile. This is, as then we can see from the chart above, the devaluation of the Roman coin, the silver denarius, started slowly about 50 AD. This continued until the silver value of the denarius plummeted in the year 241. This had a profound impact on the population of Rome, shown in the chart below. So this chart here, population of Rome, and I believe at their high, it was like 1 million people or so. Population of Rome collapsed from over 1 million, there's 1 million, down to 12,000 in just a very short period of time. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean 900 plus thousand people that died, fell off the face of the earth. It means they left. They went elsewhere as part of the warring and other things, which displaced people. But you had a major economic situation, a collapse essentially. And people couldn't stick around and deal with it. I'm sure they tried. I'm sure they were forced. They probably got to the point where it was like, oh my God, I just can't do this anymore. We have to leave. We got to go somewhere else. So everybody was jumping ship from the great Roman Empire. And I don't know if that'd be too far of a stretch of the imagination to say that over a period of time, as this economic collapse unfolds in the rest of the world, and it will end last with America. And remember, back when Lindsey Williams had the good elite friend, good information, he said America would be last. The euro would go first. Europe would go first. Then America would go. You will notice the population of Rome peaked at approximately 1.6 million people at about 100 AD, started to slowly decline, and then fell off a cliff at the end of the 5th century. The population of Rome fell from over 1 million to 12,000 in a very short period of time. Thus, the collapse of the Roman monetary system paralleled the disintegration of Rome itself. What took place in ancient Rome is also taking place in our global, modern, high-tech world. When President Nixon dropped the convertibility of the US dollar into gold in 1971, a few years later, the gold futures market started trading. No longer was the world's reserve currency backed by gold. Instead, the dollar was valued against the gold price traded on the futures exchange. So again, it's the dollar is valued against the gold price, which is set on these paper markets. And if you can control the paper markets, you control the price of any damn thing that goes through there. Number of owners per ounce of registered gold goes exponential. Again, to have a properly functioning futures exchange, there has to be available supply of metal. However, if we look at the long-term trend of registered gold inventories at the Comex, something looks painfully wrong here. And I do want to switch back to that for you. In this chart, Comex Warehouse registered gold stocks cover. And this is from where my mouse is 2003 to 2015 and now into 2016 over here. And this black area, the black number, this line is number of owners per ounce, right? So you have a futures contract, and I've talked about this a million times. One gold futures contract paper is essentially stands for 100 ounces. So you're playing with 100 ounces of gold, and there should really be 100 real ounces of gold somewhere in a warehouse that's there, and only your name's on it. Should you decide, I want to cash in, so to speak, this contract, I'm demanding delivery, I want the 100 ounces, so here's the rest of the money to buy out that contract. It was my contract anyways, I'm buying it out, give me the 100 ounces. That should be easy. You got the contract out, we made sure there's 100 ounces of gold and it's only yours. Yes, it is. You're going to cash that in? Yep. Give us the money. Boop. Here's your 100 ounces. Done. Little problem. There are hundreds of claims on that same 100 ounces as you have. So what happens when one person says, I'm demanding delivery? That means the other hundreds and something can't demand delivery on that. It's not there. You already took it. The biggest thing here is, though, is that there was never this real market of gold and silver where people are out there buying and trading these futures contracts and they're demanding delivery all the time. A fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of people, entities, whatever, that play the futures markets rarely ever demand delivery anyways. So the club can get away with these shenanigans. But as you can see, this little chart, right? This little black spot here, that's over 500 to 1 now. Do you remember, which right here in my mouse, when it was 300 and I was doing videos then? Oh my God, we broke records. Record-breaking paper to real thing, ratio. There's now 300 to 1. Oh my God, based off of the Comex data itself. And now you can see the blue line. Comex registered gold stocks, millions of ounces. So where my mouse is, 5 million ounces. That would have been 2006. Interesting to me that in 2011, right here, is when we saw the huge price rise, both in precious metals, gold and silver. But funny thing happened here. This is about 2013, middle of that. 2014, 2015, and it's damn near touching zero. Now, granted, this chart only goes back to 2001 from the looks of it here. But I think I already know this anyways, and I'm sure you do too. Don't think anyone has ever seen numbers like that, both the top and the bottom. 500 plus to 1 claims on one contract of gold of 100 ounces. Are you kidding me? Talk about fractional reserve lending. In our own banking system, it's like 9 or 10 to 1. Banks have deposits by you and me, and they got $1 million in there of deposits. They can lend out 9% or 9 times that value. They can write it up. They can add it to the million. So in other words, let's lend out like $9 million. Or they can say we have $1 million in the bank. Let's lend out 90% of that. And we'll lend out, $1 million, 900,000 of it, and we'll keep 100,000 in the bank. Banks love to do it the other way because I can take $1 million, turn it into $9 million, 9 times that value, and everything's good. That's a ratio of 9 to 1. And that already sounds absurd, doesn't it? How does 500 to 1 sound? Do you know anything in the world so ridiculous? And yet here it's right there, black and white, or black, white, and blue. This is unbelievable. So something's happening here. So my question for anybody would be, if the club can just continue doing what they do, they've done it for years and years and years and years. As you can see, hey, here's the mouse all the way across. They've done it for years. Why is this looking like this? Do you see even anything kind of like this anywhere in here? 2003, 2002, 2001. Right? There's 2008 and 9. Nothing to see here. Then all of a sudden, 2013, 14, 15, bang. And here we are now. This is a straight up moonshot. It's not even jagged. It's a straight up moonshot of how much paper they have to print to deal with the paper manipulation. That is a telltale sign in my eyes, and I would assume a lot of other people, that the club's got some major problems they're dealing with right now, trying to keep this price down. And as you've seen recently, gold's touching 1,200 all of a sudden. Silver's was at 1,550 some point yesterday. At this second in time, it's 1,534. I don't think we're going to be waiting too long for some very explosive moves in the precious metals market, I must say. The chart shows the total number of registered gold inventories on the top and the number of owners per ounce on the bottom from 2001 to 2013. The number of owners per ounce of gold trend line was basically flat, except for a few little blips. But something changed in 2013 when the price of gold was taken down from $1,600 to $1,150 in a short period of time. As the amount of registered gold declined, the number of owners per ounce shot up by over 100 to 1 by the beginning of 2014. Then the trend line remained flat until the middle of 2015, when all hell broke loose. This was at the time when there was a threat of a Greek exit of the European Union and concern that the broader markets may crash by the end of the year. The owners per ounce of gold shot up to over 500 to 1 when the registered gold inventories declined to only 74,000 ounces recently. Since then, there have been some small deposits of gold into the registered category, and the current owners per ounce is about 250. Craig at TF Metals Report wrote a good piece describing what may have happened when 73% of registered gold inventories plummeted in one day in his article named Connecting the Dots, Comex Dots. Silver, on the other hand, it says, is Comex registered silver owners per ounce getting ready to parallel gold's trend? And once again, let's take a look at this because you and I love silver. It's looking the same. I mean, not exactly, but you can see this crashing down here. Once again, supply. Down here, that's the owners per ounce, right? Now, this is interesting because this is only showing approximately 28 or so to 1. What I know when it comes to silver, it'd have been a lot higher than that anyway. I think, wasn't it Jeffrey Christensen that said that those metals were at least 100 to 1 anyways? So this is also based on the club's data. But in any case, even if for some reason this was just spot on accurate, it's the same thing happening at the same exact time that gold is. You're talking two different precious metals. There's gold and there's silver. One of them, silver, is used as for industrial purposes, medicine purposes, a few different things. But here, it's doing the same thing as gold. So this chart isn't looking good for the club as far as I'm concerned. But it's going to be looking real good for you and me, I got a feeling, in the not too distant future. So there's a little more to this article, but he ends it by saying, my fear is the collapse of the paper and gold silver futures market may usher in a new dark age. There's plenty of rumor and conspiracy on the alternative internet that the powers that be are certainly planning something to cover up the disintegration of the U.S. dollar fiat monetary system. In all likelihood, the coming collapse of the economic and financial system will have happened virtually overnight. Unfortunately, investors who are still playing Russian roulette in the broader markets may find out sooner than later. Timing an exit is folly. Owning physical gold and silver out of the banking system is the best alternative to the madness that is coming. Very good article. Take care.